So it would seem that the market for truly smooth-brained criminals hasn't quite been cornered just yet. Arkansas is nipping at Florida's heels. Meet Christopher Douglas Hicks and Charles Eugene Ferris. These two geniuses were arrested on the 1st of April 2019 after Ferris was admitted to the hospital with a large red spot on his upper chest. I was unable to find any information on how the police initially got involved, but while being questioned at the hospital, Ferris first claimed that he was working as personal security and protecting an asset, got into a firefight with another man, and the so-called asset drove him to the hospital. I'm not entirely sure why Ferris thought anyone would believe such a fanciful story, but the reality, according to Ferris's wife, was that Ferris and Hicks were drinking together outside of the Ferris home when Ferris asked Hicks to shoot him in the chest with a .22 caliber rifle while wearing a bullet-resistant vest. And I'm not making that up. After Hicks very stupidly did so, Ferris got angry about being hurt, even though the vest protected him, then proceeded to empty an entire magazine from the rifle into the back of Hicks, who had put the vest on by that point, striking the vest 5 times. Hicks managed to escape with little more than a few bruises. Both men were arrested for aggravated assault, a Class D felony. Although the charge for Hicks was later dropped in this incident, it was not his first run-in with law enforcement, nor was it his last. Hicks has a record dating back to 2014, perhaps even earlier, for various offenses, including 2 DUIs, possession of a controlled substance, third-degree assault, with his latest arrest in 2022 for arson, when he allegedly set a neighbor's truck on fire after believing it was on the Hicks property. Ferris, on the other hand, had an almost non-existent police record until this incident, but has since been arrested 2 more times for aggravated assault, and was most recently arrested in 2022 when he was charged with aggravated cruelty to a cat, dog, or horse for killing a neighbor's dog with a crossbow. He was sentenced to 8 years in prison for that incident. Seriously, Arkansas? Y'all are really trying to out-Florida Florida? In this episode, we have not 1, but 2 contestants for The Chosen Few, and it's a Florida story. Because why not? Meet Kira Enders and Dakota Jones. Ms. Enders doesn't seem to have encountered law enforcement too often, at least in her adult life, but Dakota Jones, her boyfriend, is another matter entirely, with an arrest record in Florida dating back to at least 2011 for a variety of crimes, including domestic violence against a person 65 or older, violating a protective order, probation violations, robbery, using a computer to solicit or lure a child, multiple assault and battery charges, including at least 1 against an elected official, and a few contempt of court charges. Basically, he's a career criminal and apparently one with no real plans to get his life on track. The latest crime he is alleged to have committed, however, does not include violence, which is, at the very least, a tiny step in the right direction. This one was just forgery. Not the type of forgery that includes signing someone else's name to a check. No. Dakota Jones and Kira Enders decided to graft 2 separate scratch-off tickets together in an attempt to deceive Florida lottery officials into handing over a $1 million prize. Apparently, neither of these 2 smooth brains realized that the 2 tickets they used for this scheme had different and plainly visible serial numbers. I mean, if I was to attempt to fool lottery officials, I sure wouldn't go for such a large amount, which is absolutely guaranteed to bring a higher level of scrutiny. Having worked with scratch-off tickets in my younger years, one of the first things you learn is to ensure the serial numbers match, especially when it concerns larger prizes. Florida, I have to ask, what is in the water down there that makes people go all smooth brain like this? Seriously, people really want to know. Anyway, that's all I've got for this one, so until the next time, stay safe out there. So I came across this little gem a few days ago, and I instantly realized it deserved a spot among the chosen few. It's a Florida woman story, because of course it is. And it sounds like a joke, but it is 100% true. This woman has a string of arrests in Florida dating back to at least 2018. Given what most of them are for, or adjacent to, I'm pretty sure these are only her Florida arrests, but I can't really say that for certain. I first learned about her from an old TV news report, in which the anchor detailed how this woman was arrested in 2019, along with a friend, for possession of some unlicensed pharmaceuticals of the crystalline variety. It wasn't her first arrest, nor her last, the last coming in mid-January of 2023, or at least that's what I could find. Perhaps her parents were prescient, or they just didn't like her, I don't know. But what I find hilariously ironic about this woman's particular bad habit is what it shares with her. Her name is Crystal Methvin, and I am not making that up. Well, here's just a quick update about me trying to navigate this multiple sclerosis thing. I had my initial appointment with a neurologist. She said it's most likely secondary progressive MS, or SPMS, which is, from what I understand, one of the worst forms, if not the worst, of MS. Generally speaking, SPMS is the kind of MS where things just get worse over time, with no recovery or even partial recovery from symptoms. Things can be done to slow the progression of it, but basically, once a symptom presents itself, it's there to stay. So, I've either had MS for years and never presented any symptoms at all, or I skipped right to one of the worst forms of the disease. And since I'm one of the few Irish people you'll ever meet with consistently bad luck, it wouldn't surprise me at all if it was the latter. All that said, I've not yet entered the treatment phase of my MS journey, so I'm not sure when I'll be back to making full-time content, but I do hope to make videos when and if I can. I just saw this one and I knew I had to tell you all about it. Anyway, that's all I got for right now, so until the next time, stay safe out there.